The following contest is scheduled for a 2-hour time limit. Introducing first, coming from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, wrestling reporter and columnist Justin LaBar. And his opponent, you. Call, tweet, email because you can go one-on-one with Justin LaBar in Wrestling Reality right now on Trib Live Radio.
Man, 2 days in a row with you guys here on Trib Live Radio talking wrestling. It's like a real job or something. What is this? Wrestling Reality, one-on-one with me, Justin LaBar, presented to you by Tailgaters Bar and Grill. Coming off a great night at Tailgaters last night. We did the special broadcast, which I believe is on iTunes at the current moment. You can check that out. It was the post-game show for No Way Out and pre-show for Raw at Tailgaters. I want to thank everybody who came out. Thank Tailgaters. They treated us great. $2 domestic drafts, 25-cent wings were all had and tasty. Hung out, watched Raw there. It's great to have the fans around watching Raw. Had the sound on. It was a good time. And we got a lot to talk about here today. We're going to talk about everything that's coming off of Raw. We're going to talk about, we keep hearing about a big angle coming this summer, a big storyline. Also at 4:30, going to be joined by the CEO of Bellator Fighting. They're the second largest MMA fighting organization in the country, and they got a show coming up just outside of Pittsburgh this week. They are televised. We'll be talking to CEO Bjorn Rebney, all that coming up at 4:30. But here we go. Last night's Raw. Mick Foley starts the show. I had said Mick Foley, I've been saying for months, Mick Foley had to be on that show in Long Island, and I thought this would be the start of a Dean Ambrose thing with him on TV if they're still going to go forward with it. I got excited when I saw Foley come out. He ends up talking about how we're going to have past GMs, and they're going to be making appearances, and they're going to be taking the control and hosting duties of the Raw for the time being in these upcoming weeks. But never mind all that. Forget the GMs and how the show's going to be ran. When did Mick Foley get a suit and tie? I saw this guy last month at the Dominic DeNucci roast, or not roast, excuse me, the Hall of Fame rather, when Dominic DeNucci was being inducted. Dominic DeNucci, of course, who trained Mick Foley. Foley showed up as a surprise, and Foley was in sweatpants, and it's typically, he looked like he just was ready for a Hell in a Cell match. Not a knock on him, I'm just surprised here. I didn't know he had a suit and tie. Laurinaitis comes out and wow, just wow. Big Johnny, I'm sorry, I know I say this every week. I can't get over how entertained I am by everything that Big Johnny does. His look, how pathetic he acts, the People Power logo, and the mannerisms. Love it, love it, love it. CM Punk and Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan and Kane is a match made, and that is what we start with. The story of this one was, of course, AJ coming out in the middle of the match in a red and black, get-up with a Kane mask on, and she skips around the ring, distracts Kane, leaving Daniel Bryan to get both finishers, and the champions win. The story continues to get better on that one. Vicky is finally going to choose between Swagger and Ziggler, the two going to have a match. Dolph Ziggler with a Ric Flair strut, woo, in the middle of the match. Dolph Ziggler gets the win. A black limo is shown pulling up, which I wish they did more of this. I don't care if Hornswoggle steps out of the limo. The excitement of Monday night when you see a limo pull up, ooh, good stuff. Paul Heyman, he comes out to the ring. He says, in response to Triple H wanting to fight Lesnar at SummerSlam, he says, I'm going to give you a word you're probably not used to. No. Triple H then comes out. He and Heyman go back and forth. A very organic feeling here. Two guys very comfortable on the mic and can go out and just wing it. It felt so real. It ends with Triple H giving a nice knockout punch to Paul Heyman. Alberto Del Rio, I guess, had a concussion. He couldn't do the title match, but he's back, 24 hours later after that title match in No Way Out. He's back on Raw in action. Del Rio in a quick one, though, keeping his action limited as he goes up against Santino, beats Santino in less than a minute, and once again, Del Rio with the win. It seems the fast-paced train of pushing Del Rio is picking back up. We shall see how far down the track it gets. Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun. Yeah, you know that. Cyndi Lauper, Wendy Richter in the ring. They get interrupted by Heath Slater, of all people, who starts singing, who's then interrupted by Roddy Piper. Piper entertaining as always. Cyndi Lauper smashes the frame gold record over Slater's head. Slater has now been punked out by two musicians. He had, of course, the Flo Rida incident at WrestleMania, now Cyndi Lauper. 2 nights in a row, a real tag team match with real tag teams. And it wasn't even for any titles. We get the primetime players, Titus and Darren, taking on Primo and Epico. Primo and Epico get the win after the Primetime Players get counted out. What was supposed to be Laurinaitis, Otunga, and Big Show in the main event versus John Cena turned into Laurinaitis and Otunga versus Cena because Big Show says he is moving on to bigger and better things, and he leaves. Otunga gets beat down by Cena, as does Laurinaitis, who ultimately gets put in the STF, and that is that. We end kind of rather flatly and simply, and the crowd goes home happy. Actually, what happened after Raw seems like that was more entertaining from what I read. 412-320-7925 is the number. sportstalk@tribweb.com is the email. And, of course, you can tweet me at JustLeBar. We come back, we'll talk about what could the big angle be this summer. We'll also talk about what is next for Big Show, what's next for a lot of guys. Plus, we'll take your calls, tweets, and emails and more. It's Wrestling Reality, presented by Tailgaters.